How can we make sure that we do a good job as project manager and that we don't forget anything? Well, I have a solution for you. Just follow this roadmap. I've already highlighted 9 areas that I believe need to be managed from start to finish when we manage a project. And when we manage a project from initiation to closing during the life of the project, not just at times during the life of the project. So let's take them one by one. First part that I would call an assessment. So this is where we have a look at scope, for instance. So during initiation, we do an assessment. We start with the scope. What are the key components that we want to implement? We will have a look at the budget, a very high-level budget. We have a look at the schedule also from a high level. But be careful, once you give a date, they will remember that date until the end of the project. So you have to be a little bit conservative, in my view, when you put a date, a time frame at that stage. And after, we have a look at risk register. A risk can kill a project, so it's important to really know what we are facing at this point in time. The quality and issues is quite minimal at this stage. And then we can move into project approval. We put all that we have gathered into a document. It's usually called a project charter. And then we go for approval. And we also have a look at stakeholder matrix, who will be involved in the project, and also at the team. You could have the project that you would want to implement next year, but if no one with the appropriate skills are here to work on your project, then this is not good. And then you can go for project approval. Once this is approved, you have a project. And we can go into planning. You start with a scope. Again, here you go much more detail. You have documents that need to be signed. And you go into more detail in budget. Hopefully there's no surprises there. And you go into detailed planning. No surprises there from what you have given in initiation. Otherwise people will get cold feet. And then you plan for the risk. Now you've identified the risks earlier. Now you plan, what do I do if this risk occurs? And then you do a quality plan. How are we going to test this? How am I going to manage this project? And then you put together an issue register. If you're not in luck, you might already be managing issues. So, and after you go for the approval of the plan. You write a document, usually a project management plan, but with Prince, they like to name things differently to differentiate themselves, so it has a different name. And then you review your stakeholder matrix, and you review your team. It's going to be very detailed. And then you need to have this plan approved. Is everyone okay with me managing this project this way? The approval is given, then we go more into monitoring and fixing. So how do we monitor this? We need to make sure that we stay in scope. If not, then we need to do some change management. Then we monitor and update the budget, the schedule, and the risks. They need to be monitored, and those documents need to be updated. And if there are changes, we go back into change management as well. The quality need to be monitored at all times. The biggest part, it's fixing. You fix stuff. And as you fix stuff, you update the register. You might not be fixing stuff yourself, but you manage a team. And you will need to make sure that the team is fixing the issues that arise. Some issues might require change, and then we'll go back again to the change management part. Then you communicate, very important, through meetings and reports. This is not the most exciting part of project management, but it has to be done and has to be done on time. Otherwise, people will think that you have lost control of the project. You communicate. With a little bit of luck during the initiation, you actually had a proper communication plan. So now you can execute this plan, which means I need to communicate to this group of people this way and during this time frame. And after, when everything is ready, are we going live or not? Is everybody okay with this? So if you've managed the stakeholders properly during the life of the project, everybody should be on board. But what you don't want is to leave someone behind, a stakeholder behind, and after, when you say, okay, we're going live, they say, what? So this is very important. This is where you get really the go-ahead. You implement something. Sometimes there's something to implement. Sometimes it's just a switch. And then you close. When you close, for me, it's how you really judge a project manager. How tidy are you with closing a project? Unfortunately, most of the time you are being thrown into another project, so you don't really have time to do this, but please do it properly. This is how you will be remembered. The design document, does it need to be updated? There's been plenty of changes, so you need to make sure that you give a squeaky clean design document. So when people go back to this project, they would have a clean document to refer to and not a document that is out of date. Budget, you close the books. Is everything, everybody's been paid? Is everything, do we have some, in a situation where you do have some money given by someone for this project, if there's too much, do you need to give it back somehow? Regarding the schedule, the party's over, you don't have much to do here. The contingency funds, do you have some left? Have you been provided money to manage risks, and those risks didn't occur, so you would have some funds left here? Or even, are there any risks that are being left? If there are risks that are being left, they're probably not risks for the project, they are risks for the future. Quality, it's too late, it's done. Don't want to hear about quality issues now. Now, regarding issues, if you have some outstanding issues, you have usually a time frame or called a warranty period where you need to fix those. But if you don't have time, you just need to hand over these issues to a team, a business as usual team, the production support team, and they will take care of that. It's time to move on for you. You cannot have the expense of a project that keep occurring. You are ready to move on. Now, regarding the project admin, there are two documents that need to be done if you want to do things properly. You need to produce a closure document, and you need to have this one signed off, and that will be part of the approvals. And you also have a lesson learned document. What have you learned from this? If someone wants to do a project similar in the future, they could refer to this document and hopefully learn from you. You tell everyone, okay, by the way, that has been implemented. There's nothing worse than the stakeholder comes back to you and say, where are we at with this project? And you say, well, we implemented this a couple of months ago. You need to communicate. You need to go back to your stakeholder matrix and your communication plan, and you need to tell them, yes, this has been done. This has been implemented already. You need to tell them, guys, we have implemented last week. There was no problem, just to let you know. And then the approval to close the project. Usually you send a document, nobody responds, nobody is interested. Everybody's moved on, but you have to do it because this is really showing that you have ticked all the boxes. So talking about ticking all the boxes, this is a roadmap that I really like, that I've created. There are things like the approvals that I didn't see in any other methodology. So if you follow all this, how can you go wrong? You just do follow all this, you do all this, and you'll be known as a very good project manager, in my view. Okay, I'll leave you with this.